How's it going, y'all? Rowdy Riles back with another video. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've touched on in the past, how I feel about these collectibles, how I feel like the company is going to go, and how I feel like they affect collectors. And that company is Funko. And I don't know if you saw the news recently, but it seems like they're in a little bit of financial trouble when it comes to staying open. And yeah, my mindset for Funko is the same as it is with Beanie Babies, the Boo Boos, any other craze that pops up. It only lasts a little while, and then the market completely bottoms out, and people that fully went into this, fully invested this, are kind of SOL. So yeah, let's talk about that. So this article comes from Game Rant. Funko is reportedly in dire straits by Michael Brandon Ingram. Popular toy company Funko is reportedly experiencing several financial struggles, with a recent report suggesting that the company may not be able to survive the next calendar year. So that is not surprising to me. You go to GameStop, you go to Target, Walmart, all these Funko Pops are marked down. They just sit there. They take up space. And there's a lot of people that unfortunately were like, I'm going to take my Funko collection. I'm going to open a store, and this will be my business. This will be my moneymaker. This will be how I make my living. And unfortunately, the market for Funkos is out. I remember a few years back, they were throwing a bunch away in a landfill to write it off as a tax write-off because they just couldn't sell them. They made way too many. And not only did they make too many, these things are ugly, in my opinion. They're ugly. The beady little eyes, the oversized heads, the tiny little bodies. It's not something I want to see sitting on my shelf. I have a few. I have some from Saga just because that's the only Saga figures we'll ever get. And then I have Rick and Morty ones as well on my Rick and Morty shelf. But it's not something I actively collect. I remember buying a few before I started really going back into collecting as an adult and being like, these will hold me off until so that I don't buy action figures. And lo and behold, here I am with a whole YouTube channel reviewing and talking about action figures. So it's not really much of a surprise that Funko is in these dire straits. Funko has continued to push new limited variants of some of the most popular brands, with the company often releasing special collaboration figures. Funko released a massive 14-inch tall figure of Transformers Optimus Prime earlier this year, sporting a cartoonish design based on the 1980s animated series. They've even dabbled with adapting its wide array of figures into a full game, which also are kind of crazy and wild that they did that. They wasted money making a video game instead of focusing on making better products. And they also own Mondo. And I think there's some other like sub branches of Funko that make stuff, but I feel like if Funko goes down, they're going to sell off Mondo. They're going to sell off all these assets. So I don't think that Mondo would go down unless Funko's just like, screw it. We're going down. Everyone's coming down with us, but they own Mondo toys. And for me, I think that Mondo toys are overpriced. I don't think they're worth the cost, that you get. You know, they're like $250, $200. For a little bit more, you get a Hot Toys. Not that I have any of those, but they have cloth goods, realistic looking face sculpts, all this stuff that is just such a better value for your dollar. And that's really the thing, is there's better products out there. So it's not a surprise that they're in severe financial trouble. A new report filed with the SEC by Funko shows that the company is experiencing significant financial struggles to the point where the future is in question. The report shows that Funko sales have tanked by 20% year over year, recording a loss of $1 million USD in the third quarter of 2025. Funko acknowledges the company's prevalent financial issues within the report, suggesting that it has a substantial doubt about its ability to continue. And that's even with making stuff like K-pop Demon Hunter, which is all the rage right now. There's just no demand there for these ugly Funko Pops. The uncertainty of Funko's future would likely leave a massive void in the collectible space that the company has filled with its pop culture figures. The previously mentioned Funko Fusion's lackluster reception following its release led to a wave of layoffs at developer 1010 Games. That should have been their indicator. Okay, maybe we need to refocus on something else. No one cares about Funko Pops. And you know, in the future, in the past, Funko was making some decent stuff. They had made actual Rick and Morty figures. They'd made a couple of other, I think they even made Fallout figures that were like 6-inch scale, and they were all right. They weren't crazy, but it's better than a Funko Pop. They should have stuck with making actual figures with actual realistic proportions. That's the word I was looking for. But it seems like it's too late for Funko at this point. With nearly 20 employees affected, Funko's licensing deals have also likely eaten into the company's potential earnings, with more than 1,000 brands oh my God, available under the Funko Pop line. The next 12 months look to be a pivotal time for Funko brand and its ability to withstand its financial struggles. And this isn't the first time we've seen this with the toy company. You know, Super 7 was in the same situation, losing a lot of money. They changed CEOs recently from Brian Flynn, who just loves to go on other people's YouTube channels and let them pitch him softball questions, and it all avoid any consequence or actual questions about the way that he runs the company. So they kind of got rid of that guy, shuffled him off to a different role. And I am sure that there's going to be restructuring at Funko. We may even see them sell off Mondo early to try and recoup some of that money. But as far as Funko Pops are concerned, I don't think that they're going to be around that much longer. I mean, obviously the ones that we have will be around, but I just mean new stuff, because those things just sit there. I went to GameStop and they were marked down to like $4 and a whole table full of them. And not only that, they had a wall of all the new ones, and those are just going to sit there. I remember going to Hot Topic and getting three for $10 or something like that. So that was like less than $5 a piece, obviously. So, you know, it's just one of those things that you can see the signs, you can see the way the market is going, you can see how much more expensive things people actually want are, like regular action figures. And Funko is reasonably priced, but at the same time, what you're getting for it really isn't worth anything. I mean, there's people that like Funko. That's fine. If you like Funko Pops, I'm not saying, oh, screw you. I can't believe you like those. What I'm saying is, from most people's perspective, this was doomed to fail. And it's not surprising, because people want better quality things for their collection. People want better representations of what they enjoy. And that's how I feel. So if y'all like this video, smash like, hit subscribe. Smash like, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree, disagree. You can disagree and be mad about it, but like if you come off rude, I'm just gonna block you. There's a lot of people that are just like, oh, your opinion, and it's just like,
yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
And we all have our opinions. So yeah, let me know yours in the comments. Like, subscribe, become a channel member for 99 cents. Do all that stuff. Keep your head up, stay brave, be kind to your local LGBTQ community. I love y'all. I will see you next time, and bye-bye. And bye-bye, Funko. Bye-bye.
Return to
Found a mythical Walmart end cap. Ah, Morty, you're still watching this crap, isn't this? To review figures and toys and stuff. Aren't you a little old for toys? Ah, geez, Rick, you know, I don't think you should call her a bitch, and I kind of like her videos, so maybe you should shut the up. Q, Morty. Q.